Welcome. What is the greatest encouragement for leaders today? What makes leaders to continue moving on despite them facing odds, despite them facing difficulties in their lives? Very simple. God. That is God. Welcome. This is Market Praise Believers, an online program that actually encourages, equips, and engages leaders, whether they're in business, in leadership, and in civil service. My name is John Kimani. The greatest encouragement that we have as leaders that makes them to continue moving on despite the challenges, despite darkness that they might be going through, is that God is the one who allows them into the position of leadership. And this is very important, especially in a time like this. Well, this is a very difficult moment when business are winding up, business are diving in, cash flow is low. There's a huge challenges in business, and also in the church, and also in government. But again, a leader might be thinking, why does God allow me to be in such a time as this? Why should I be reading the church, the organization, the business, this department in such a time as this? We need to remind you that it is God who have allowed you to be in power, to be in the position of leadership for such a time as this. And again, is also a caution. It's also a warning for us that as long as you are in that position of power, you need to remember it is not you who allowed yourself. You might have forced yourself, you must have brought yourself into that position. But again, you need to remember, were it not for the permission of God, were it not for God allowing that to happen, you will not be there. And so it is not, your position of leadership is not an opportunity for you to enrich yourself, for you to make yourself big or whatever it is, but you need to remember that you are there to serve God's interest. Number one. And if you mess and if you misbehave, God will open the door and will fire you. So we need to remember God is the one that allows us into position of power. And if it's God, no matter the challenges, no matter the problems that we are going through, as long as we say we have God's backing, as long as we know God is supporting us and God has approved our leadership, and whatever it is that we are doing, that is going to be an encouragement. And then number two, God is our helper. When you remember the king, this young king had a dream, and he calls the wise men and tells them, you guys tell me the dream that I dreamt and the interpretation. And this was virtually irrational demand. It was stupid. It was impossible. It was like, hey, how in the world, how can you tell, how can you ask such a impossible demand? But again, allow us to say this, that sometimes God can allow a difficult situation to come. God can allow darkness to come. God can allow the business to start diving and create unfavorable circumstances, so that you who is there, God can use you to avert the situation so that his name can be praised. And we think this is why God allowed the king to raise and to give such an impossible demand, and also to give a very harsh judgment, that if you guys cannot be able to interpret the dream, then I'm going to detach your body with your head. And he sent Ayok to do the same. But when Daniel and his friends went there and prayed and asked God to reveal the dreams, he was able to do it. And what are we saying? God has allowed you to be in that position, not to fail you, not to humiliate you, not to cause you, not to throw mud at your face and cause you and to make you lose your face. But the reason why God has allowed you to be there is to give you solution to the challenges that you're going through. And so when you see the challenges that you're going through, you need to understand that God is allowing you to go through those challenges so that you can be able to generate solutions to those challenges so that God's name can be elevated. And we think that is very, 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 very important to remember that the reason why God is allowing you to go through those challenges is so that He can give you solution, so that God can bring a partner, so that God can bring a destiny connector, so that God can bring a financial, so that God can give you a divine idea, so that you can overcome. And so we urge you, because you've been praised by God, because you are wherever you are by divine permission. The challenges that are going are custom made, have been allowed by God to come to you so that they can be your stepping stone to go to the next level. So don't run away, don't shy away. God is bringing victory. God is bringing a song of celebration. God is bringing an answer to those challenges that you're facing. You might be a senior pastor and people are not tithing these days. You might be a businessman and the business is actually nosediving. You might be a politician and people are no longer interested in your manifesto. You need to see this as a God-given opportunity, as a God-given door for Him to elevate you. And He is not going to use this challenge to embarrass you or to humiliate you, but He is going to increase you and take you to the next level. And then number 3, very quickly, He equips us for service. And this is the third encouragement that we draw as leaders get. Daniel actually says in verse 23, he says, "You have given me 2 things, that is wisdom and power." God, every time when God installs you as a leader, whether in marketplace, whether in business, whether in church, whether in politics, whatever it is that God praises you, we need to understand something, that God will give you tools of trade. God will give you whatever it is that you need so that you can serve Him effectively. As long as you remember that it is Him who allows you to ascend into power, and that you really need to serve His interest, not your selfish interest. And as long as you remember that He is your helper, He helps you to overcome the challenges, then He gives you the skills, He gives you the ideas, He gives you the strength, He gives you the tools of trade. He gives you strength so that you can be able to overcome the challenges, so that you can be able to provide a solution to the challenges that you are facing. And so what are we telling you tonight? We are simply telling you, if you feel like going away and resigning, maybe you are running a school and things are very difficult, maybe you are in business and the business is nosediving, people are no longer coming to your business because maybe whatever it is that you're offering is irrelevant for them. You need just to hang in there. God is downloading a solution. And maybe God is bringing these problems not actually to humiliate you, but He's bringing this problem because He has in his storeroom there is abundant of ideas, there is abundant of solutions, there is abundant of strategies that can help you to overturn, so to speak, that can help you to be able to go through this problem and to avert this problem. So what are we saying, friends? We are simply saying, are you going through a problem? Is there darkness? Are you seeing closed doors before you? These are blessings, these are opportunities, these are stepping stone in reverse that God has brought you to you, so that you can ascend into power, so that you can be blessed, so that you can so that God's name can be elevated. So we tell you, don't hang on, don't disappear, don't hand in your resignation letter, don't say I am closing this business, because this problem, this darkness, this odd is a miracle in waiting. There is a testimony that God wants to give you, and this is the encouragement of leaders. We want to thank Samuel Wanderi, Dorcas Mudama, Sapienza Schools, even for the wonderful comment. They are saying that they are following us keenly. And again, our mother there, Georgina Wanjiko, she's saying, oh yes, God is the only our encouragement. Leaders, don't give up. Hang on. And God is the greatest encouragement for us as leaders. We encourage you kindly to go to our YouTube channel, that is Inawezekana TV. Please make sure that you subscribe and so that we can keep on spreading the message. This is John Kimani in our Marketplace Believers, Marketplace Believers, an online platform that shares insights that engage, equip, and encourage believers to be useful in business, in leadership, and in civil service. Please follow us every Wednesday for Marketplace Believers. And until next week, such a time as this, remember what we always say here, Inawezekana. Have a blessed night.